how the coils are wound, pinball coils. We do work for Sega, Capcom, Williams, and we'll continue to do work for Premier and Gottlieb coils. I want to point that out. We will make those available in the future. Some of you people are worried about it, with Premiers being auctioned off shortly on that. We're going to also show you how we hot stamp caps, drop targets, and coils. All this equipment I got from Premier. It's the original hot stamping equipment. And then you're going to view my collection of 82 games upstairs. Feel free to play any game that's lit up. I hope to get them all lit up one of these days. But we've got a space problem and some of the areas are pretty tight, so try to group around me and we'll try to cover as much ground as we can. So if you can follow me. Machine, we're going to wind the first winding, which is your push winding. Push the clippers with. So many turns that we wind down here, and we have to insulate between the windings. And on this machine, we're going to wind a hold winding. You want to hold your flipper in, you put the flipper button on. So what we have is, this machine will wind your first winding with a certain wire side. This machine will wind the second winding. The insulation between. So basically, what you mainly have here is copper wire wound down a bottom. The last steps are actually putting the diodes on, putting the label on. Department was 3 times this size 2 years ago. Due to pinballs being down, we don't have much business on pinballs. It's very slow now. Williams is down, Sega's down, Capcom is trying to start up on that.
Pinball will rise again.
At times we've had all these machines going plus another group of machines in the back. 30 or 40, I think. Well, these wires have red enamel on them to protect them. When you solder them, the enamel burns off and the solder goes on. But that's why you want to never try to scratch these wires or you'll get a coil to short out. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but sometimes it does if the enamel wire fatigues, not a coil. Over here, I want to show you the next step is put the labels on. These coils here, the Black Beast design are Sega coils. These are the little coils. These are the 24 wired 940 current coil we do for Sega. That's not only for 70, please. It's not for 70. It's all wound. This is how they look once the 2 windings are on. So we have to wrap the labels around. And the last step, we have to put 2 diodes on. Most of the flipper coils have diodes on. So if they kind of come down in here, we first do the diodes and then we do the labels. And here we put on the diodes. Bigger flipper coils for Williams. And we make close to all of Sega's coils and all of Capcom's coils. So the last step, which I won't show you, is the soldering situation where they dip in by hand, we dip in the coils and solder. That's the final stage of the coils. So we have basically 2 size coils. Big flipper and the little littler type. We also make some of the small relay coils that you see in the games also. This is pretty much the whole coil department. Over here, I have a lot of rows of maybe come around it. This is the where we hot stamp. You get your coils from Steve Young Pinball Resources. This is the equipment that I got from that Gottlieb used to hot stamp. Hot stamping Uses brass dies. These were all made by machines that are made in the 30s and 40s. Now the brass dies pretty much went out in the late 70s, early 80s. Now they use decals. And I can tell you why they did away with these things, because it's tough to stamp them. A lot of work goes into it. When they did the production, they would set up a game, they'd make caps for 3 months in a row. What we do is 50 of this, 20 of that, and so forth. These are the dies that are made, and they're put in a machine here that heats them up to 350 degrees. There's also pressure that determines how fast the dies come down. This box here determines how long the die stays down. So what you do, we're stamping the Bally bullseye targets here. It's a matter of taking it, putting it in, and you use different types of foil, different colors. The foils are going to hot stamp the dies onto the drop target or cap. Now that stays down about 3 or 4 seconds. So when you're done, you get a nice bullseye target. But it's 15, 20 minutes, sometimes setup time. Stamp each little drop target or cap. Some of them go a lot easier than others on it. On this machine, we do like the 8-ball deluxe cap. That has a bigger type of die. We also do the Gottlieb drop targets. The Gottlieb 1970 type targets. All our little flippers are stamped on here. These you just stamp the blue on. There's a fixture to stamp just the black or blue on the Bally ones. And the 60s flipper, naturally these come in white and they stamp down on that. So basically this machine does mainly drop targets and caps. This machine over here is what we do the Gottlieb bumper bodies on. These are one-piece bumper bodies that were used, I think, starting in the late 60s with Royal Guard. And going up until, well, they use them on a lot of the electronics on it. But this type of machine, you take the regular cap that's been unstamped here, and there's a die in here, a rubber die that's going to come down on a piece of foil. Let's try that one again. And once again, you have a completed 10436 bumper body, which you can do in a multitude of colors. Green, red, purple, whatever you want to do on that.
Donald Murphy, call extension 497. Donald Murphy, call
But this machine only does the bumper bodies for Gottlieb on it. But once again, it's a certain pressure, a certain heat, and a certain foil that makes these bodies available on that. This is the old style. I believe the new ones have screw holes in them on that. Now we'll go over and show you the other stamping machines. These are the machines that do, this one, both of these come from Gottlieb. They do the sunburst caps. Kiss caps, Captain Fantastic. What we do is we have to buy the caps plain white, and you have to paint on, you put a little dye-like over this, and you paint on the different color cap that you have to do. And then we once again have the same situation with a certain type of foil you're going to use, a certain pressure, a certain heat. We heat these dies up to about 350 degrees. And it's a matter of going in, just like before, and stamping your cap. And once we are done, we have the Bally Gold 100 points, 1 lead cap. This is the machine that does, we do all of our disc caps on it, Captain Fantastic, mainly the Bally ones. The Gottlieb 10.1 lit caps we also do here also.
Where do you get the white plastic?
We have that tool. It's a special, we just changed our formula so you can see the light better on it.
Is that like foremost going to be?
Yeah. This machine here isn't used too often, but we do the little round 1-inch bullseye targets. These are two different dies that you use, two circular ones. One puts the red on, one puts the blue on. Caps. We're going to have to mold them, get a mold made for the daisy caps. Then you're going to have to get dies made to stamp in 100,000 one lip, pop, spin. That's our next target. We're also trying to get them the same marbleized color that the original ones have. All that equipment is pretty obsolete. We think we found a source to do that. So I would say, hopefully in the springtime, we'll have daisy caps available, which I know a lot of us need on our games to dress up the games. I'm now going to send you upstairs to view. I got about 82 games set up. Feel free. Anything that's lit up can be played, and you feel free to walk around and play them. And the bus will probably leave another 15, 20 minutes. But you can see the collection of games which I have. We just all have.
This is 80-plus games, primarily given to Gottlieb, but there are some Valley, some Chicago Coin. I think he has a Stern game, he might have one or two, and Williams. As Don indicated before, we do have done transformers and coils for the pinball market for 40-plus years, and it's about the product we've been associated with this market for a number of years. Don got interested in the pinball collections in the mid-'70s and has added to his collection over time. Primarily, again, Gottlieb had some of the older Gottliebs here, 50s, 60s, and some of the old wood rails upstairs. He has what I consider some of the best games ever made. He has Wizard, a Valley game, which is my favorite. My second favorite is King of Queens, I think, because he likes that well. He likes Slick Chick, which I'm not quite as fond of as he is. What you folks can... yeah, I like the extra quality, that's why I like Wizard. What you folks can do is go in and look at the games, play them, and be pleased to answer any questions you might have that respond to. He's certainly more familiar with the games themselves. My association is more engineering oriented with the games. I must admit I've played many over the years. You can play any of the games that are lit. Don't turn on the ones that aren't. They're either not working or there's something wrong with them that might cause, might even get a shock or something on them. So don't play around with any of the games that are not lit. Play any of the games that are lit. You can look at the games in this area, which is some of the prime collection. Humpty Dumpty got the first one of the games upstairs. You go upstairs. There are several rooms upstairs. You can play those. Our old engineering lab, there are some games. You can play those. And on the wall is a group of parts that Don, in servicing this hobbyist market, which is very near to his heart, has tooled up. We bought some of the tooling from the old Gottlieb, some of the old people, and Don's now tooled up some of these parts so that if you're interested, the parts he makes on the wall. Some of these are also available through his association with Steve's House. And in this area are some games that Don's selling with prices that aren't interested in that. Okay, have at it. Here, those of you who didn't hear me talk, go upstairs and look at the games there. Three basic areas of the games. Play any of the games that are lit. Don't turn on those that are not lit. Don't play them. Look at them, don't play them. Go upstairs.
between electrical winding and repair all these machines, and repair and rebuild play fields here. So if anybody needs repairs, just get a hold of Don Murphy, electrical winding, and you can have the machine shipped in, we repair them and ship them back. But they have to pay shipping costs.
How long have you been doing this?
About 6, 7 years.
What's your favorite machine?
I don't have any favorite machines. I just repair them, I don't play them.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
I leave that to somebody else.
Thank you.
Take a right. All the way to the wall. Take another right. What's that? Oh yeah, they're up here on the top, sir. I got a buddy that sent I collect money with for fire trucks, and I sent him a well, I just Smile, guys. Somebody might want to pass the word. I think now, I think let me get I had to turn it on Is that your opinion for Harold?
Yes.